Hello everyone, welcome back to Acoustic Paradiso on Andertons TV. I'm Ben, and today we are looking at this. Now, this is the Bugera, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, the new AC60 amplifier that they've brought out. Anyway, Bugera have been around for quite a while. They're part of the Music Tribe group, which is Behringer and all those guys, which is important, and I'll come on to that in a moment. But this is their new acoustic offering, the AC60. If you're at all aware of acoustic amplifiers that have been around for a few years, you're probably already guessing what this amp is very, very close to. Another compact 60 watt amplifier that's been around for a while. This actually has a few extra kind of features that you might not have seen on amplifiers of this type of design before. So I'm going to talk you through it. I'm using this Alvarez, what is this, an MD70, so kind of dreadnought to play this. This is a 2-channel amp. Okay, so we'll look at the first channel first, because that's the one that I'm plugged into with my guitar, which makes sense. Looking on here, you've got a high and low input switch, so you can adjust for the, how much output your guitar is putting into the amplifier. You've got a colour switch, which I'll get to in a second, and then you've got gain, bass, middle, and treble. So it's a 3-band EQ, very, useful for dialing in a sound that you like. So I'm just going to go through that a little bit now. So let's see what the colour switch does first of all. So if I play a G chord, I'm going to switch it in and out. So you can definitely hear an EQ shift in there. The colour switch seems to bring in a lot more top end and maybe lose a bit of the mids, a bit of the low mids. I think I personally prefer it with the colour switch out, but that's because I always find piezo pickups to be too bright anyway for my taste, so I'm always attenuating the high end, which I'm going to do right now. So that's good. That's a nice kind of basic pickup sound I've got there. Before I get to the channel 2, I'm going to start looking at the effects, because you can hear that I've got a bit of reverb on there. I mentioned earlier that this, the Bugera amplifiers are part of the Music Tribe group. That also includes Clark Technic, who, the famous processor company, and the effects in here are Clark Technic based effects, and there's lots of them, which is really useful. But there's a lot. I'm going to go through them all though, because particularly the reverb settings on here, I think will be very useful if you're used to doing a lot of acoustic kind of gigs, either just on a guitar, or if you use the second channel for a vocal mic, which we'll get to. But yeah, this has got 7 reverbs, and then you've got 3 chorus settings if you want to use chorus, which I wouldn't recommend. Then there's 3 delay and chorus settings, and then 3 delay settings. So you've got an awful lot of effects to choose from. Also in the effects setting, you've got a pan control, and what that does is it assigns the effects to channel 1 or channel 2, basically, on a variable basis. And then you've got an overall level control. Let's just have a quick look at the reverbs, because I have a feeling for most people using this amplifier, reverbs are going to be the most useful effect. Okay, so this is the first reverb, and they get gradually longer and bigger. So this is number 1. I'll turn the level up a bit so you can really hear them. So it's nice. It's like a little kind of short room, gives you just a little bit of space around the guitar, which is actually very, very helpful, particularly on fast picking stuff. I'll turn it up to number 2 now. So again, it's still a slightly larger room, I would say now, but a useful sound. Nice, right, let's go up to the next one. We're getting a little bit more lush now. Nice, so I would say this is getting into the territory of your more kind of your everyday gigging reverb levels for your singer-songwriter type thing. I should mention as well, I haven't mentioned the price of this yet, it's £189, which is ridiculous, because it's a 60 watt amp, It's got a Turbo Sound dual concentric speaker in it as well. Turbo Sound is another brand that come under the Music Tribe thing. If you're not aware of Turbo Sound, they've been active kind of making PA systems for decades, really high-end stuff, you know, touring PAs. So getting a speaker like that into an amp that costs less than £200 is unbelievable. It does sound great in the room. But I digress, back to the reverbs. So, I'm getting bigger now, but that's kind of nice. All right, I have a feeling this next switch may take us into the too big to be practically useful a lot of the time territory, but we'll see, shall we? It's getting there. You could use that on a ballad. So obviously I've got that turned up really like far too high to be useful, but I think we've got one more, have we? Yeah, we're into cathedral territory now. So if you maybe, this could drop the D. Still going. Have we run out of reverbs now? There's a lot of reverb there, basically. Oh no, there's one more even. Wow, okay, we've still got more in the tank. Let's see how this one sounds. Very long. That's a lot of reverb options. And of course, you know, I've got them really turned up high. You probably wouldn't want to have them quite so high. You turn the level down on that long one there. It's actually still really usable, even though it's so long, because it's not really thick in the low end, and the diffusion up the top is nice on there. It's a really nice reverb system. Because it's there, I'm going to show you the chorus and the delays. Because of my age, when I was growing up and learning the guitar, I was told a lot. Oh, you're going to want chorus on an acoustic guitar. It's never been true. It's never been true for me. But you know, it's just because it's not to my taste doesn't mean it's not going to be to your taste. So, for the interest of a complete review, here's some chorus for you on guitar. Imagine my hair comes way past my shoulders, and I'm playing this. Actually, let me turn the level up because you can't even tell it's got you can't even tell it's got chorus on it. What's the point of having that like chorus? Yeah, oh, there we go. Now you can tell. Woo! And yeah. Obviously, that's turned up quite a lot. Again, this is the thing I was told as a kid. It makes it sound just like a 12-string. It doesn't. It doesn't. But it does, like, it's useful. I'm being very derogatory towards chorus. I love chorus on electric guitars, just on acoustic guitars. That's too much, isn't it? Let's go to the second chorus, okay? This is still turned up all the way, so again, probably too much, more than you're ever going to want. Although that's nicer than the previous one in terms of the mod, isn't it? That is the setting to use if you want to sound like a grunge band doing an MTV Unplugged gig in the 90s. Look at that. Oh, the sound of my teenage years. So there's more chorus. Here we go, number 3. That's got a much slower rate on it, hasn't it? It's more of a kind of Andy Summers-esque Police style. Take it back, actually, that's quite nice. That's quite nice. I like that as well. I take back my previous comments. Chorus on acoustic guitars can sound nice. All right, you win, Bugera. You win that round. Okay, now we're into the next three settings we got. Delay and chorus. Again, I've never needed to use this, but I was proved wrong on the last effects section, wasn't I? So maybe there is a place for delay and chorus. This is setting number 1. Again, everything's maxed out, so this is really up the top end of the effect, so you can hear how it does its thing. Yeah. I mean, it's delay and chorus. It does do delay and chorus. I would prefer chorus and a bit of reverb, personally. But beggars can't be choosers. Ooh! Okay, so there's quite a lot more delay, isn't it? Just going up one step. So as far as I can make out, there's no controls for any of the rate or anything like that on these. It's just, you can turn the effect on and you can turn up as much as you want, but that's the limit of your controls. But, you know, you've got 15 effects in here or something, so... And it's less than 200 quid. Don't ask for too much. Obviously, that's too much delay to be usable most of the time. I'm guessing the delay might be more useful if you're using channel 2 for a vocal microphone, because a lot of people I know use these as, you know, standalone PA systems for little gigs, really, restaurants and pubs and stuff, because they do go really loud. So I'm guessing a bit of delay might be useful on your vocal, if you like that kind of thing. Let's try the third one. Ooh, well, that's very long delay, he says, stating the obvious. I'm sure some people will find that very useful indeed. Now we're into the straight delays. You've got 3 delays. I'm just going to bash through these because I think the delay times are pretty much the same as the delays on the delay and chorus, just without the chorus, which would make absolute sense, right? So there we go. I'm going to stick with one of the nice reverbs towards the end of that reverb thing. So they do have some slight tonal differences between these reverbs as well, which is really nice. Okay, one louder. Okay, so now we've been through the reverbs, we've been through channel 1. Let's look at channel 2, because channel 2 has got something on it which I think is going to be really useful for kind of solo acoustic guitarists. You may have gathered from videos I've done before that I have a real I'm very picky about acoustic pickups, and a lot of the time I don't really find the under saddle pickup on its own to be that satisfying, because it doesn't really convey all the character and all the goodness that you want from an acoustic guitar. So quite often, if there's an option for it, it's nice to add a microphone in front of your guitar. That's all good. On a lot of amps with a similar design to this, the only option you had for a microphone was a dynamic mic. But this actually has switchable phantom power. There's a switch on the back, so you can supply 48 volts to a condenser mic. So I have here one of our rather lovely KM184s, Neumanns, that sit in the live room. And I know it's a very expensive microphone, but you can get a similar effect for live use from, you know, a much cheaper condenser mic than this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the pickup off, and using the phantom power on, and I've switched this, there's a button on there on channel 2 that you can switch between line and microphone, because it's a combination XLR and 1/4 inch jack input. Switched it to microphone. Excuse me. You only have a 2-band EQ on here, so you've got bass and treble. Because of where I'm sitting, which is in front of the amp, normally I wouldn't sit here if I was going to use a microphone, you do get there's obviously going to be feedback implications. But I'm looking here to blend in a tiny bit of the microphone with my pickup sound to get a better overall tone out of the amp. Okay, so this is what I'm going to go for. I've turned the pickup down. I'm going to turn this microphone up. There we go. Ooh, just on the edge there. Let me turn my overall level down. As I say, I'm sat kind of in exactly the wrong place for this. There we go. So reverb on channel 1 by adjusting the pan control. Turn my overall reverb level down. Now. That sounds quite boxy. So this is another little tip. If you're using a combination of a pickup system and a microphone, particularly for live use, you can roll off most, if not all, of the bottom end of the microphone, because the stuff that you want to get from the mic is generally the top end stuff. So what I tend to do, if I was setting this amp up for a live gig, I'd roll the top end off the pickup channel, and I'd roll the bottom end off the mic channel, and then kind of adjust the taste. So here's the microphone on its own now. It's very thin sounding, but I'm not getting so many feedback issues because it's the low end that causes the feedback. Well, it's the low mids really. So I'm going to turn the microphone up more. And then having turned the top end off my pickup channel, I can dial in that to give me low end. And all of a sudden, to me, that is a much more pleasing acoustic sound, right? And ooh, I'm right on the edge there because I'm turned up quite loud, so I'll turn that down a touch. And you can tweak this to your own purposes as well. You don't have to use a microphone like this. You can use a large diaphragm, but for live, I'd stick with a small diaphragm. If I angled it actually slightly differently away from the amp, it might help. There we go. Let's try that. All right. Even a bit more bass on the top, on the pickup. So there we go. I think that's a really cool thing that you can do with this that I've not seen on other amps with this kind of 2-channel setup. Obviously, you've also got the option of using the second channel for a vocal mic, so you can go out and do singer-songwriter gigs perfectly happily. It's got a little tilt stand built into the bottom. You can also put it on a speaker stand. It's got a hole there for, you know, standard speaker stand size. But that, I think, having the 48-volt phantom power option on the second channel really does open up the amp as a kind of solo instrumental thing to make it really good. It's a really nice amp. It's an exceptional amp for the price. You'll notice that we've used the condenser mic in front of here. That's because it's a very hi-fi sounding amp, which is what you want for acoustic guitar. So you've got all the high-end stuff. We tried it with an SM57 and it didn't quite have the nice top end. So we've used a condenser mic, but you've also been listening to a DI output from here because it's got a built-in DI out, it's got a line out, it's got a headphone out. Sorry, I'm having to sneak down the back of the amp here. It's got a tuner out and it's got an effects loop. It's also got a headphone out, which is very useful if you want to do silent practice. I know that a lot of jazz guys use these for electric guitars, or amps like this for electric guitar, which I'm sure it would work really well for. It's also, I should mention, it's also got a mini jack in just up here next to your master volume, which I've not seen again on these kind of 2-channel style amps. So if you want to play with backing tracks or just put some music on while you go for a break, you can do that. There we go. That is the Bugera AC60. If you're looking for an acoustic amp for live use, I really can't see you going wrong getting one of these. I'm very tempted to get one myself, really, because it's loud enough for solo gigs. If you're going to be on a gig that you need it to be louder, you'll probably be using a PA system anyway, so you can take the DI output. It's very flexible. The effects sound great. The EQ works. Like, there's nothing not to like on it, except possibly the splatter finish. I know that can divide opinion, but I don't mind as long as if it sounds as good as it does. So there we go. That is the Bugera, however you want to pronounce it, AC60. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot more videos, always. Always lots more videos on Andertons TV. But I'm going to be back with some more bits and pieces soon. And in the meantime, I'm going to turn my reverb up a bit. Here is the Bugera AC60 with a microphone and the pickup system. All right.